fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya, Bakugo, Katsuki, Ochako Uraka, and Melissa Shield. Now, during a test run Melissa was doing with her Exo Sim suit, or her artificial created symbiote, she actually did encounter Midoriya fighting off against Carnage. While at the same time, we do actually have Bakugo and Ochako who are fighting off against the Grendel symbiote possessed Carnage. Now, the Grendel symbiote did actually go on the retreat, going to pick up the OG Carnage and absorb it, and growing in power. Now, with that being said, it then did put people in harm's way, causing these three to react. Bakugo's symbiote, he poured a lot of his power into trying to destroy Carnage. However, the symbiote just kept reconstituting itself. And Bakugo's symbiote can do that, just at a slower process. Now, with that being said, we actually do have roughly about 30 minutes to an hour later, inside the SHIELD base, where Nick Fury is trying to understand everything, as he's currently screwing at a line of people, talking about how they are all security for that symbiote, and to make sure that it does not escape. Nick Fury then going on to state that he would like to know exactly how many of them are spies. Now, a few people in line do try and speak up. However, Fury does go on talking about how he doesn't want to hear any of it. And he would then actually have a scientist come walk up to him, as he does have a few vials of something on a little rack. Fury actually taking one and holding it up, talking about how this is true and genuine true serum. Every one of them is going to take this vial and swallow it. And whoever does refuse, they will be labeled as a spy and thrown into a SHIELD prison. Now, as soon as he does mention that, the first person in line does swallow it. As they do swallow it, they do actually begin to start talking about everything. Them rambling on about this thing, and trying to cover their mouth at certain topics. Now, with that, they would just make their way down the line, as a few people did actually try and take off to run. And it was immediately recognized that these people were traitors to SHIELD. As Midoriya, he'd be able to look inside their head and find out exactly what's happening. These people had a plan in place. They were responsible for why Robbie was able to sneak into SHIELD. Whenever one of them was on the security team, they simply just ignored him. In fact, they turned off cameras leading to the lab, and deleted the footage that was already there of Robbie. So, this does seem to be quite weird. They knew where he was headed, didn't they? Or no, they steered him. Now, with that, it is also revealed that Danny he was informed by one of them about how the symbiotes behind the restricted area are stronger, and that there are actually more behind that door. This being the reason why he broke in the first place. Now, with all that being said, we do actually cut over to a location where Danny, he actually does suit down, as he does collapse against a wall, breathing heavily as he does say that he feels exhausted. Now, he actually does try to close his eyes to go to sleep, as Carnage is in his mind, along with the Grendel. Now, Carnage is informing him that they need to cause chaos, and they should be out there right now killing. Talking about how he will turn him into a brain-dead moron if he does not comply. Danny telling Carnage to just shut the fuck up, and that if they are to bring about the destruction of the world, then he doesn't care. He died once already, and the way he feels like shit. In fact, he got the wrong symbiote back anyways. How dare you? How dare me? Listen, you want to do what? Kill everything, slaughter everything, make everything a bloodbath? Go for it. I don't give a shit. I just want venom. After that, do whatever you want. Hell, you can fucking leave me. I don't care. But for right now, I think working together would be the best strategy. Strategy? Yeah, you ever heard of it, dumbass? It's what we use. Planned attacks, inception. Certain military tactics I can utilize and actually have under my belts. That's why I was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was so good at it. Interesting. Now, Carnage does actually try to talk to Danny. Try and learn a bit more about his time in S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, he also does look into Danny's past and see his military history. So, he was quite the soldier, and he even did things that he wasn't proud of. But he tried to justify him in his own way. He was protecting people, and he was just following orders. Anything any soldier would just tell themselves. Now, he does hold regrets over these actions, but he can't change them. Now, Danny, he does fall asleep, as Carnage does begin to plan their next move. Now, with that being said, we do actually have the next day, where Midoriya, he does actually come back to the apartment. And he does actually find Toga and Jiro both sitting at the coffee table, or sitting on the couch drinking coffee, as they're both talking. Jiro actually with her feet up on the couch, as she's holding her mug with both hands. Now, the moment Midoriya does walk in, he does actually have a look of relief on his face. Izuku, where'd you go? Okay. Midoriya telling Jiro to come outside and talk with him now. Her actually following him outside, as he does make sure that Jiro, or not Jiro, Toga does not follow them. Now, Midoriya would explain the situation. Danny is alive, and he has Carnage. Now, this is quite surprising. Midoriya then explained that these events are happening early. Happening early? What do you mean? These events weren't supposed to happen for 3 months. What? Yeah. Listen, I don't understand. We were supposed to be on course for this future. It's the one where we all live. Or at least I do. Listen, I gotta tell you this. I'm trying to make sure we all survive. Sir Nide told me, Midoriya actually pulling out these letters and showing them to Jiro. Her looking at the one Nide wrote, and then looking at the one Midoriya has implemented changes in. Her actually having, well, a bit of a nervous tick whenever she does see that in this timeline where Midoriya lives, she dies. And Toga was supposed to become the host for Carnage once again. Now, nothing really more can be told from there. Midoriya does just know that their victory is assured, and that's it. This is how they're supposed to win. Now, she does look at Midoriya, asking when was he going to tell her about any of this? Midoriya trying to explain that he's been trying to find the right time. He doesn't know. Listen, with Danny out there right now, we need to move. We need to move all of you. Keep you safe. Midoriya then bring up his hand, and telling Jiro that he also just want to give her a piece of his symbiote now. That way she's protected. Now, she does ask Midoriya if this is even going to work. He's messing with time. Listen, I don't care at this point. I'm just trying to make sure we all survive. And I don't want anyone to die. We've lost a lot. We don't need to lose any more. Hell. Besides, if I'm going to die, I at least want to die fighting. I want to live a life full of no regrets. And if I have to die against a god, I'll at least know one thing happened. Midoriya actually somewhat smirking, talking about how he'll at least make sure that God never forgets him, and that he's a permanent mark in his memory. Now, with that being said, Jiro, she does actually take on a piece of venom. And for right now, the symbiote is not its own. It is still a piece of, well, venom for the moment. However, the seed has already been planted for Mania to be, well, activated, you could say. Now, with that being said, we do then have where Midoriya does explain the situation to his family, along with his in-laws, as they are all moved into a shield safe house. Now, with that being said, we do have later that night, where Danny, he does wake up, and Carnage does inform him about where they do need to go, where they need to get to. Now, Danny, he actually would try and think about this logically. Okay. The best strategy for right now. Collect the rest of the codexes, and then we can overpower them. I don't think that's possible. That anti-venom thing, whatever it was called, whenever it attacked us, it hurt. Besides, now that there's two of you in my head, that thing, it can kill either one of you, and I'll be stuck weaker. So, there is a possibility. his suit was weakened whenever he fought against us. So we either need to outlast him and kill him, or we can leave him as the last one remaining. That way we can avoid any last-minute saves. Last-minute saves? What are you talking about? Think about it like a last stand. However, somebody swoops in and saves your life. Ah, I see. Well, I know where 2 codexes are. 3, actually. Now, this is where Danny does actually head to Midoriya's apartment. Him believing that these 3 codexes are him, Jiro, and Toga, as he actually would arrive. Now, he does walk into a dark apartment. As the moment he does flick on the light switch. The moment that does happen, he does see Midoriya holding up his hand, as the Venom symbiote is attached to the light switch directly above, well, hanging from the ceiling. As he does shoot out a large repulsor blast. Now, S.H.I.E.L.D. then does swoop in, mobilizing the units they had hidden, as LMDs begin to try and attack the symbiote. Now, with that being said, we do also have, well, Bakugo, whose symbiote over the course of a few hours did actually almost completely regenerate. It is almost back to the Agent Venom status. However, he has been noticing strange things happening with it. As you also do have Melissa and Ochako, as they do try and leap into the fight and take on the symbiote. Now, Danny, he would immediately go for the S.H.I.E.L.D. LMDs, as he's able to smash into them and actually smash one across Midoriya. Him sending Midoriya through a few walls as he does smash through and begin to start falling towards the ground. Midoriya actually getting his wings out as he would begin to actually fly back in. The moment he does actually smash directly into Carnage. As soon as he does actually just continue flying, as he goes straight down into a building and smash into it. Now, the moment he does look around, as he does pick up a large piece of rebar, as he just begins to throw it over his head, smashing it down into Carnage, telling Danny that he's nothing more than a reanimated corpse, and he's gonna put him back in the grave. Now, Danny is still annoyed, as he does go to actually use an attack Midoriya himself used against him. Him actually sending voltage through his symbiote, or charging it with electricity, trying to attack Midoriya with his ability. Now, Midoriya, whenever he is shot, he's sent flying away, as the symbiote was able to absorb the force of it. But, well, yeah, that hurt a lot. Now, Midoriya, he is temporarily put out of the fight, as Venom is trying to regenerate organs. Now, we actually do have Ochako, who herself is communicating with Melissa and people of S.H.I.E.L.D., as S.H.I.E.L.D. is talking about how they're trying to keep as many civilians away from the area as possible, along with pro-heroes believing that this is all part of a movie set. Now, this explanation does seem a bit more likely. However, heroes are having a hard time believing it with all the quote-unquote special effects that they are currently seeing. Now, this is then harder to explain. Whenever Carnage does actually run out of the building, smash into a wall as he's grown to be 2, well, floors tall. Or let's say about, yeah, I believe that will work, 15 feet tall. as he does just look around at agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that are around him, them trying to blast and hit him as he does just simply sweep his arm and hit them all away. Now, we do have Bakugo, who actually would jump onto the symbiote's back and try and put Danny into a chokehold, as he does actually bring his hand directly onto where Danny's face is. Now, Danny does begin to scream out in pain, telling Bakugo that he's a very big thorn in his side. Oh, trust me, I'm aware. Last time we fought, I dumped a lot of my symbiote into you. However, that was over the course of a few minutes. Let's see what happens with all of it in a few seconds. Now, with that, Danny does begin to start shrinking down, and the symbiote is beginning to take a lot of damage. Both, in fact. The moment Bakugo, he actually has a part of his arm uncovered, he actually does jump off of the guy, as Ochako does come in and directly smash a gas generator across Danny's face. Now, she actually then does bring her hand up and use the charge she already absorbed from it and blast him with it, as he's sent flying away. Midoriya actually coming in as he turns his hands into a large wrecking ball, and throwing his hand outwards as it does elongate, smashing directly into his back as it then actually does swing overhead. Midoriya then smashing it downwards, as he does actually throw up his other hand. Now, Midoriya, he does run in, turning his hand into a giant mallet. As he does so, he does come in and begin to start smashing down against Danny, who is currently going feral. Now, Carnage takes over, and tells Danny that he'll take things from here, as Danny does get up and directly backhand Midoriya, landing a solid clean blow. Now, the moment that does actually happen, Midoriya does stumble, going back on the offensive. Danny bringing up his giant leg and going to kick Midoriya with it, as a large portion of the Grendel symbiote is able to actually swarm around Midoriya and Venom. Now, Midoriya, he's actually sent flying backwards into a wall, as he's stuck with it. The symbiote trying to eat Venom, or absorb it and take it away from him. Him actually trying to get free of it. Now, Melissa would see this, as she does just fly down and land, asking if there's anything she can do to help. Listen, there's not much time. Midoriya reaching out his hand and telling her to just shock him as hard as she can. Now, she's confused by that. How she just grab his hand and tell her suit to amplify voltage, as she does send the shock through Midoriya. Now, the moment that actually does happen, Midoriya sends it directly through Venom, which does actually destroy or make the symbiote around his body explode, as he does fall onto his knees, asking Venom if it's alright. It telling Midoriya that thing just ate a fifth of his body mass, and to give him a minute. Now, Midoriya actually would put his hand down on a large pile of the goo, telling him that he can just take this stuff, can't he? Yes, that should work. Venom beginning to absorb it, as Midoriya would see memories, and he can tell what's going on inside Danny's mind. As we do have Ochako, who is currently fighting with as much power as she can, along with S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to take him down. This guy's an absolute behemoth and a monster. Now, along with that, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that Danny did actually hit, they themselves begin to start standing back up, being covered in symbiotes. Now, they all do begin to start attacking everyone. And the moment S.H.I.E.L.D. actually does see this, they tell their troops to begin to try and fall back. However, multiple other people are infected. And this is whenever S.H.I.E.L.D. does find out about a new ability this symbiote can do. It is literally turning itself into a hive mind. It is making people Carnage. This is just like an incident they had with Toga, except this is on a far worse scale. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, him and everyone else are ordered by Nick Fury to fall back, as they are going to try and bombard the area with explosives and fire. As everybody actually would get up off the ground. The moment that actually does happen, S.H.I.E.L.D. immediately just firebombs the area. And they try and take down Danny. Now, Danny would immediately, as soon as everyone did begin to retreat, dive down into the sewer system and begin to quickly travel away from the area. As the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who were covered in Carnage are destroyed, and Danny is able to escape with his own life. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.